Hello, and yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I've just been, concentrating on the podcast, side of things. So if you guys didn't know, I've got a podcast, and look me up and connect with me on the podcast as well, and just share with your friends, because I know that in certain parts of the world, data is quite precious when it comes to videos and YouTube. So I've got audios on my podcast. It's called TTWF, Tracking Through Waves and Flames podcast. So hope to see you there. If you want more information, or if you want the link, I am happy to send it to you, and I'll probably post it at the end of this recording. But welcome, and thanks for joining me. Well, today I don't have a lot to talk about. I just want to talk a little bit about communicating with the eyes. And you're probably thinking, what is she on about, and what is she talking about this time? But yeah, communicating with the eyes. And I'll tell you the reason why this has come about, or the thing that's prompted me to talk about this, is because lately we're all living behind face masks because of COVID-19. Everybody's wearing face masks everywhere all the time. And often, you know what, the mask covers more than half the face. And all that can really be seen are the person's eyes. And so we all know that when you're communicating with someone, they can tell a lot of what you're saying or not saying by looking at your face. And so if our faces are half covered by face masks, there's a whole lot of communication that we don't get to see. So you can't read expressions that well, and you can't really see whether someone's smiling or frowning or whatever it is that they're doing. And research has shown that non-verbal communication makes up to 93% of total communication. So our facial expressions are a big part of nonverbal communication, especially, believe it or not, the eyes. So surely this will change if we're all wearing masks and there's less on show, to offer those all important nonverbal cues on how we are feeling. Because a lot of the times, as I'm talking to you, you're watching my body language, and you're probably reading a lot from what I'm saying or not saying. So imagine if my face was half covered by a mask. It would be really, really difficult. It just means that we have to communicate differently. And so that's what's prompted this. And so, and the other thing that's prompted this is recently I joined a new organization for work. So I changed jobs, and I'm working for a new organization. And the biggest challenge for me has been trying to get to know people behind masks all the time. So you get introduced to people, and it's really, really difficult to remember faces that you can't see, right? Because we're all wearing masks all the time, I'm having to learn to read people's eyes, and also to be more expressive with my eyes, either, positive or negative emotions. And in most places you see people passing colleagues along the corridors, and I'm sure everyone have done this. You flash a smile and then quickly look down before it gets awkward, right? But if the smile is covered by a mask and cannot be seen, then it falls to the eyes to communicate that smile. And that will mean, as hard as it can be, that we all have to look up and meet each other's eyes. Then, so, when your mouth is covered, you have to rely on the eyes more to regain some control over communication. If you want to increase understanding with a masked individual, you have to look them in the eyes, Though, to be honest, that's easier said than done. I'm not a fan of, staring into people's eyes or looking at people, So, it's not as easy as it sounds. And, adults are used to reading faces, as a whole. And if society is suddenly going to be masked up, then we will have to adapt quickly. And I think most of us have, hopefully, making more use of prolonged eye contact. If you haven't adapted, well, you need to do it fast. And yet, this is not a natural behavior for most of us, looking into people's eyes, looking into each other's eyes. Most animals look each other only to signal threat or interest, right? In humans, social interaction is usually punctuated with very brief periods of mutual eye contact, and deviations from this can make us uncomfortable, and so, just briefly, we look at each other if we're talking, if we're in a conversation. And so having to, continually look at each other, it makes, maybe it's just me. I don't know about you, but it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And research suggests that eye contact causes self-consciousness. Yeah, I know that. And becomes uncomfortable only after 3 seconds. Can you believe it? You're talking to someone, you're having eye contact. After 3 seconds, it becomes awkward, it becomes uncomfortable. And so what do we do? When this is our new normal, at the moment, it's our new normal, and we're all praying that it's going to come to an end, sooner rather than later. And so the other day, the sun was out, and because it's summer over here where I live, and I reached for my sunglasses. And then the thought occurred to me that soon we might actually have to ditch the sunglasses, in spite of the bright sunlight. Why would I say that? Well, with only eyes in evidence, right, it's almost impossible to communicate a smile with the mouth covered, right? So the sunglasses mean that you can't use the eyes that we're talking about. So we're saying your mouth is covered. Now you're trying to use the eyes. If you're wearing sunglasses, I can't see your eyes. So we then can't use the eyes for nonverbal communication that we take so much for granted. So that's what I mean by very soon we might have to ditch sunglasses so that at least we can see your face when you're talking, or we can see that beautiful smile of yours. Did you know that a person can communicate with their eyes and never say a word? Did you? Our eyes show emotion, they build connections and indicate interest. Eye contact, friends, is one of the easiest and most powerful ways to make someone feel recognized, understood, and acknowledged. Eye contact is important during a conversation. If you've never thought about it, think about it. It's a skill that can be developed and can be used to make presentations stronger. So for those of us that, do public speaking presentations, or even during an interview or a formal interaction, it can make whatever you're trying to say stronger and more acknowledged by your listeners. Eye contact is an incredibly powerful tool in conversations, as it demonstrates understanding and respect and acknowledges that you are listening to the person that's speaking. If you are the one speaking to an audience, it's a skill that can be developed and can be used to make presentations stronger. And so making eye contact with those in the room shows you are confident in what you are saying and that you want to build rapport with them. Have you ever thought about eye contact as a skill? I bet you most of us haven't, but I've been thinking about this a lot, that eye contact is actually a skill. And so most of us already know that using appropriate eye contact can be difficult. So it's important to think about eye contact as a skill. And if it's a skill, guess what? You can continue to work on it, you can continue to develop it, you can continue to improve it, and you can continue to get better and more confident at it. Isn't that awesome? Since eye contact can be tied to so many life skills, it's important for us to practice and learn about eye contact as a powerful communication skill, an important communication skill at that. Consider for a moment, right? Using eye contact to show love, empathy, concern for others, to manage feelings, or to help with communication. Those are all life skills. You need your eyes to show that you love somebody. You need your eyes to show empathy and concern and things like that. Sometimes people look down as a sign of sorrow. It's a cultural thing for some people. But actually, sometimes if someone can see the empathy in your eyes, they can connect more with that. Someone's gaze can be a channel of truth or a barometer of lies, depending on the speaker's intention. So depending on what I'm trying to say, my eyes can actually be telling the truth, or you can actually tell from someone's eyes that they're lying to you. They're telling fibs. And it also depends, but guess what? It depends not only on the speaker's intentions, but also on how sensitive the listener is. Some people would never pick up on it, and then some people are very, very sensitive, and they can easily tell from your eyes that you're not genuine, you're lying, and you're just winging it and things like that. And both truth and lies are communicated through the eyes. So communication mistakes can even happen when we're using eye contact or making eye contact. And so, yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting, and I'd like to explore this more. And I was just looking up to see, is there much research out there? But I think there's going to be more coming out on this subject, I'm sure. And so let's, talk briefly about the advantages of good eye contact. What are the advantages of good eye contact? Why is it so important? Well, number one, respect. So the first advantage of good eye contact is respect. In Western countries, eye contact is a way to show and to earn respect. Whether you're talking to your boss at work or thanking your mom for dinner, eye contact shows the other person that you feel equal in importance, right? So, and it shows sincerity, warmth, and honesty. All that is reflected in your eyes, If you are addressing an audience, so you're doing public speaking, you're talking to a group of people, eyes establish a connection with your audience. A deliberate look in the eyes of an audience member can communicate how much you care about their thoughts. Sustained eye contact is an invitation to turn your talk into a conversation. So you're not just presenting, you're not just talking at them. It becomes a conversation because you've established that connection with your eyes. It creates a bond between the speaker and the listener, a connection that is beneficial for both parties. When you look someone in the eye, they are more likely to look at you, more likely to listen to you, and more likely to buy into your message. So they're more likely to believe you if you establish a good eye contact connection. Number two, advantages of good eye contact. It improves your concentration. You see, a room full of people with all the different lighting and sounds can be very distracting. I know I do a lot of stage speaking and all that, and it can be very distracting, not just for the person speaking, but for everybody. And so deliberately focusing your eyes on different audience members will help contain your nerves if you're nervous, and clear your mind and concentration on your message. So establish eye contact with people all the time. Just don't stare at the one person and make them feel like, oh my goodness. But actually that calms your nerves, it gives you confidence, and it clears your mind so you can concentrate on your message. When you look someone in the eye for 3 to 5 seconds, you will naturally slow down your speech. Did you know that? Look at somebody in the eye. It forces you to slow down your speech, which will make you sound more authoritative. I like this. It'll sound like you're an authority of what you're talking about, an authority on your subject. That's powerful. That's really, really powerful. You got to do it smartly though, because sometimes you look at some people's faces and you make eye contact and you think, oh my goodness, they look so blank. Are they getting what I'm saying? But you know what? On the whole, it improves your concentration and it just helps you to bring your message across to an audience. Number 3 advantage of good eye contact is confidence and authority. I've already talked a little bit about this. Have you ever spoken with someone who looks away every time they talk? I have. It becomes really hard to believe they know what they're talking about, and you might find yourself undermining what they're saying, unintentionally, of course. But with sustained, focused eye contact comes authority. If you can't look people in the eye, you can't expect them to believe your message or even agree with your point of view. So if you're having a debate or you are trying to convince people of something, you've got to be able to look them in the eye. Good eye contact communicates confidence and conviction. And eye contact helps to project presence, self-esteem, and assertiveness while speaking. Even some charisma in there when you're speaking. The more you look at the audience, or the more you look at whoever you are talking to, if it's a one-on-one or a smaller group, the more power and authority you will give off. When eye contact is maintained, it signifies control or power over a situation, and it establishes a degree of dominance. I'm not, just be careful, going around staring at people in the eyes, trying to dominate them. But, sometimes it's necessary, especially if you're trying to make a point or you are trying to do something, when we maintain eye contact, not rudely, it just signifies control, power, and it just, exudes dominance, right? Number 4 advantage is empathy. Empathy. I've talked about it previously. Direct eye contact is so powerful that it increases empathy and helps with emotional connection. It actually, when you're looking at someone, even if you didn't understand their pain, sometimes you look into their eyes and you can just see that this person is broken. You can see that this person is remorseful. You can see that this person is sorry for whatever they've done. And you can see that this person is really in a bad place, and it helps you to empathize with them. Empathy is putting yourself in the other person's shoes. And that's one of the other advantages of good eye contact. And they can see that you get what they're going through, or you get what they're trying to say, and you are understanding them. Number 5 advantage is it facilitates engagement with the audience. What do I mean by that? People will be more willing to participate in the speech when they see you are scanning the crowd. You will notice them nodding, frowning, and even smiling and laughing along, And as a result, your audience are transformed from passive listeners, to active participants. They start to participate in your presentation. They start to go along with you. And isn't that encouraging? It really, really is. Number 6 advantage is motivation. Steady eye contact will help you motivate people to complete actions they've already agreed to undertake. So it motivates people. So if you're wanting your kids to do something, or you're wanting your husband to do something, don't be trying to get him to do it and he's got his eyes on the TV screen. Get him to look at you. Not too long, don't take too long, just brief eye contact, and it will motivate him to complete certain things that you've been wanting for him to do. So there's a tip, guys. If you want to motivate people, steady eye contact as you're asking them. Steady eye contact as you're speaking to them. Steady eye contact. Number 7 advantage is eye contact makes your words more memorable. It makes your words more memorable. What do I mean? If you want people to remember what you said long after you stop talking, maintain good eye contact. But not everyone, is able to make eye contact while speaking. Let's not forget that. And I said before, it's easier said than done. There are those who find it too intimate or uncomfortable to lock eyes with others. And I'm sure there'll be someone listening to me that'll be like, yeah, that's me. And I'm one of those people. And so the skill of eye contact is indispensable. It's like you can't do without it. You need it. but it goes mostly unnoticed, which makes it a perfect skill to hone in on. It's a perfect skill to hone in on. Practicing eye contact is one of the best investments you will ever make, and the best thing of all is it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just need to practice looking at yourself in the mirror. Practice next time you're talking to someone, just see if you can maintain steady eye contact. Practicing good eye contact is an essential skill for effective communication. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's essential. But most people actually underestimate its ability to make a difference in personal relationships, in business, and beyond. Think about it. When was the last time you actually maintained good eye contact with your spouse, with your friends, with your kids, and things like that? So maintaining eye contact with someone you're talking to, it displays interest in them. It shows that you're present in the conversation, you're present in the situation, and it tells them that you are important, and I'm actively listening to you. I'm actively listening to what you're saying. And I know that us ladies love to feel important, gentlemen. Just a tip, just saying. And for you ladies, if you encourage him, look at me, I'm talking to you. Or sit in such a way that he has to look at you. Anyway, so how do we do this? I'll just suggest a few tips to help maintain good eye contact without staring, because that's the other thing. You gotta be careful you're not staring rudely, or you're not staring in such a way that you make people feel uncomfortable, feel intimidated, because that's the other thing. If you stare, there's chances that you might make people feel intimidated, or some people might think it's rude, and some people might actually feel threatened. So you've got to be careful. You've got to maintain the right balance. And so I've got a few tips. Hopefully that will help us. So tip number 1 is use the 50-70 rule. The 50-70 rule. And what that means is to maintain appropriate eye contact without staring, you should maintain eye contact for 50% of the time while speaking and 70% of the time while listening. I hope that makes sense. So 50-70 rule is maintain eye contact 50% of the time while speaking and 70% of the time while listening. So when you're talking, you maintain eye contact, but not for too long. But eye contact is more important when you are listening. This helps to display interest, and it helps to display confidence. Communication happens with the eyes while you are listening, just as much as when you are talking. So remember that while you're listening and maintaining eye contact, you should smile, open your face, and look interested. But if you're wearing a mask, it might be a little bit difficult. So try and open the half of your face that they can see, and maybe just open your body language and just try and look. The way you sit, the way you are communicating will show that you are interested in what they're saying. Tip number 2 is maintain eye contact for 4 to 5 seconds. 4 to 5 seconds. Once you establish eye contact, maintain it or hold it for 4 to 5 seconds. That way you're not staring and intimidating and scaring everybody. After this time passes, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After this time passes, you can slowly glance to the side and then go back to establishing eye contact. So yeah, hopefully your seconds are not fast, but yeah, literally 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you're not stopping, you're still talking, and you just look to the side, establish eye contact, and carry on. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense. Tip number 3, think about where you're looking. Think about where you're looking when you move your eyes a little bit. Maintaining eye contact is easy because you're looking at the other person. So that's easy. I'm looking at you, right? As I'm talking to you, I'm looking at you. We're looking at each other, hopefully. However, when you look away, do it slowly without darting the eyes like you're trying to hide something or you're trying to avoid them from seeing your eyes. And so you look, you do it slowly. Do it slowly. This can make you look, if you're darting your eyes, then it can make you look shy. It can make you look nervous. And don't look down. Don't look down. Remember, look from side to side. Look from side to side. And not too quickly, not too often as well, but don't look down. Looking down can give the appearance or the impression that you lack confidence. When you look down, it just gives the impression that you don't have confidence, or you're trying to hide something, or you're lying. You lose trust. Tip number 4, establish eye contact right away. Right away, establish eye contact. Before you begin talking, before you start talking, establish eye contact. Don't look down or look at something before you begin speaking. So you meet someone, before you even say hello, eye contact. Hello, my name is so-and-so, or whatever it is. Something like that. Establish eye contact right away, and then you start talking. So if I'm introducing you to somebody, look at them and then start talking. If that means, don't look down and then, Next tip, avert your eyes when someone grows uncomfortable. So if you see that the other person is getting uncomfortable, I've been in situations, in meetings where someone is talking and they're literally constantly looking into your eyes like non-stop, and sometimes when it's that intense, it makes people feel uncomfortable. And so if you can sense or you can see that it's making the other person uncomfortable, just avert your eyes. Don't look down like we said, and don't look to the side like you've lost interest, but just shift your eyes so you're not staring directly at them. Because not everyone appreciates being looked at directly in the eye. That's the other tip. You've got to realize that not everyone appreciates it. And as much as it's a good skill and it's a good thing, some people just don't get it, and that's life. So while it's true that eye contact is a universal communication signal, there are certain expectations that you should also consider. Some cultures and some norms find eye contact offensive under certain circumstances. Like I was saying, for my culture, where I come from, say you go to a funeral or someone's mourning, you don't exactly stare them in the eye. You sort of look down and try and not look directly on them. You're showing them that you're sorry for what they're going through, whatever it is. Or if you've done something wrong, you're not going to be looking up and staring at the person. Don't look at them directly. It shows that you're sorry or you're remorseful or whatever it is. So just be careful, of certain cultures. And sometimes we don't know. So you might have to just go with the situation and see how it flows. And the more you practice it, the more you use it, you become a little bit better at the skill. And last tip is practice, practice, practice. Eye contact will come easy to some, but it doesn't for everyone. So it might, but if it doesn't for you, it's okay. It's okay to practice until you become confident. If it doesn't come naturally for you, there's nothing wrong with you. Just practice until you gain confidence. You can look at an eyebrow. It's a good technique. Look at the eyebrow. So just a little bit above the eye, or look at the space between the eyes and the mouth. At their nose, just be careful, because you don't really want to look like you're staring at their noses. And you can practice with yourself in the mirror. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Or if you've got someone that's close to you, a loved one, practice with them. But practice, practice, practice. It's a skill. And so you can improve it. So that's about it, really. I think I'll end here. But I just thought it's interesting, and I hope some of these tips will help you and will be useful to you. Just give me some feedback, and as always, if there's anything that you want me to talk about, let me know. But it's interesting, we're all living behind masks. What does that mean? What does that look like for you? Just think about some of the things I've said, and hopefully you can use some of these tips, because they will actually help you. They will definitely help you, especially in some formalized environments in the workplace. I'm learning to use my eyes, and I'm learning to look at people more as you know, I'm the new kid on the block, I'm the new one, and so I'm trying to establish connections and relationships, and so I have to be open. I have to do things that will draw people to me as well, and that will help me connect with people more. So yeah, all the best as you learn to use your eyes and as you perfect this skill. Until the next time, you take care. Stay safe.